Hello, welcome back to another edition of that Millwall podcast. Today I'm joined by the one and only Stephen.
Hi guys, and hello to the incredible Mickey.
That's it. That's it. So you saw it. You felt. I just wanted to see how many people actually read the tweets, and so far there was one, which was Phil Clark, and obviously you because you picked it up on here. But yeah,
I feel
and
obliged
also,
to though.
yeah, no, that's it. No, definitely. Um, and uh, and obviously welcome to um, not newbie Dan no more. We're welcome to Dan. How you doing, fella? You all right?
Yeah, evening, chaps. Happy to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Right then, gents. Today's show we are going to be discussing Gillingham victory on Saturday. We're going to have a discussion around some of the standout players. Um, I think we'll have a chat about ticket prices and away travel costs potentially for this year, and then we'll tap on some Sutton away, which is obviously Tuesday. Um, yeah, well, I've got a few facts for them because obviously we've only played them twice. This will be the second time we've ever played them. So yeah, we have got. Hopefully, we might have a guest coming on very shortly to give us a update on Fleming. So anyway, without further ado, it's time to do this, and we'll be back straight after this for part one. Hold on tight. That don't seem to work now, does it? That's a big fail there. Should we try it again? We'll be back straight after this. There we go. You see, I think it's possibly the anticipation of we've got a couple of guests who possibly could give us some update on the Fleming saga. Seems to be everywhere tonight. They will be hopefully coming in at some point soon. So yeah, let's crack on with Gillingham away. Obviously, we were victories yesterday Saturday even. With Nisbet obviously scoring a penalty in the first half, and then I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name.
Immaculate.
The Irish lad. That's it, Amaku. There you go. Scored in the second half, and it was quite a good strike, to be fair. Dan, what's your thoughts on Gillingham?
Well, most important thing is we got minutes into the majority of the players' legs, the exception being George Honeyman, who went off injured, which is a bit frustrating to see a player have to go off, and I think a couple of people I went with, we were kind of the opinion that Honeyman has probably came back slightly overweight already. So a little bit of time out of the team probably isn't going to do him a huge amount of favours. Players that did play, I thought Brian looked very good. And obviously we're only playing against the League Two team, but he impressed me when he was on the ball. He was up and down quite a lot. Should have had the assist for the goal that Bradshaw had ruled out. I think Watmore had a good game playing just in behind the strikers, something slightly different for him. Usually been played as a winger or a striker, but played in the 10 in the first half. He won the penalty for us. And SA in centre mid actually worked quite well in that game. I'm not sure how viable it is long term. I know Rowett has spoken about it today, saying it probably won't be something he looks to do in the league, but he could see SA having a future in that central position. In the second half, I thought the two young lads that played, I thought Okolie, I thought he looked a little bit out of his depth at centre half. Got caught dawdling on the ball a couple of times. So, I like youth players and he looks very good in the youth team, but I think we probably need to get him out on loan, maybe to a League Two or a National League team, try and get him playing some more men's football, build up his confidence. The left back, Adam Malachi, didn't look too bad. But again, if he's not really going to play football, I'd rather him get out and play men's football. I thought second half we weren't fantastic, but Amaki got a goal with a great strike, and that was all it really kind of took.
No, I totally agree with you. I think SA looked good. Amaku looked good. I think Brian looked okay. A few of the players I think are bedding in well. I think again, I think the youngster's not great in the position he was playing in the centre half position. I think it's different playing youth football as it is playing men's football, and I think he probably needs 20, 30 games, maybe 40 games playing men's football, and also maybe just bulk up a bit and just being. But he's definitely a player. He's definitely got something in him. But I just think he probably needs to get a bit of development under his belt first. But I agree with you. First half looked good. Second half, we sort of come off the boil a bit. And I see that he's just really focusing and putting those minutes in the players' legs. Obviously, Danny Mack come on when Honeyman come off. It was Honeyman, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Honeyman.
Yeah,
come
and
off.
then Alex Mitchell,
and then he played him
another
about
10 minutes at the end. So I think
Danny Mack played about 60 minutes, didn't he?
Alex Mitchell, that is, ended up about 60 as well.
Yeah, so not bad going, I suppose, really, to be fair, getting them up to match fit. But overall, it's a friendly. You don't expect anything else, really. I mean, Stephen, what's your thoughts on it? I know you weren't at the game, but you've seen all the highlights and other bits and pieces. Any standouts for you?
I must admit, from what I've seen, Amaku, it looks an interesting one to keep an eye on for the season. I think, there's a lot made of the miss in the under-21 final, which obviously was a shocker. Let's be honest, it's probably one of the worst misses we've all ever seen. We were all there, but I think he's got something about him, and he's definitely one you can kind of see why they wanted to get him in when they did, and to make sure that they kind of secured him. SA in midfield, I mean, he's just quality. He's just, Rowett said, I think the quote was, is it that he's as talented as what we've got? And I think you can just see that when he's on the ball, and I think he's definitely going to progress. I am slightly concerned that he may become, on people's radars, but shame about Honeyman. You never want to see players get injured in pre-season, but for everybody else, good workout. It's good to get minutes in the legs again. Probably expect now with the games getting closer to the league season, you might see more players get more minutes per game rather than have two complete 11s. But no, the youngsters, we touched on it on the last show. If they're not quite ready, then clearly Rowett's got some decisions to make, and some time still in the transfer window to look at those positions. But I wouldn't be surprised, certainly the centre half Ockley, to see him perhaps go out on loan to get some experience.
No, I totally agree with you. Right, bear with us, gents. We've got a couple of people who want to call in, give us an update on the on Fleming. Obviously, you've heard that allegedly Lazio and Seville and Burnley are back in. Hopefully, we've got a couple of sources what hopefully will give us an update. We're just bringing them in quickly and see what they've got to say for us. Hi, welcome to the show. Can you give us an update? What do you know about the Fleming, especially our Italian source there in the middle? Can you tell us whether or not the rumours about Lazio are true or not? Can you hear us?
Can
you hear us at all? Yeah, I think they will. I think we've got a bit of a language breakdown now. I don't think we're going to hear anything from these sources, unfortunately, which is a big shame. Oh well, sorry. Thank you. No worries. Well, we did try.
Anyone listening to that as a podcast and not watching the video,
you'll have to go on YouTube and watch it.
Absolutely, yeah. We're not insane.
We're really but if you go on YouTube, you will find out what happened there, and also, and you can just join into it. So yeah.
Just to touch on that though, obviously it has broke. Sky are reporting that Burnley are coming back in for Fleming, and there is talk that Lazio and perhaps Sevilla are interested. We did touch on it again in the last show with us three that perhaps Burnley had called off on the basis that what happened with Berylson and probably not the right time to be entering any kind of negotiations. But it does look now that, Millwall are operating perhaps full steam ahead, that Burnley are coming back in and other clubs are kind of circling too.
You've also got to ask yourself, is there anything to do with the timing of the Fortuna game at the end of the month and the fact that there's a load of Fortuna fans coming over to see Fleming that you probably don't necessarily want them going yet? I don't know, mate. And again, there is nothing confirmed. 100% confirmed. It's just personally, on a business sense, you wouldn't necessarily highlight it, would you? So yeah.
But as I said it earlier in our group chat, and I'm sure the viewers would agree. I understand that they have a friendly with Fortuna Sittard and the deal with Fleming. However, the priority is Millwall Football Club. If Fleming is going, I hope that wouldn't be a stumbling block or something that they're waiting to hold off to announce. If he's going, announce it, get the funds into Rowett and improve. If he's not going and there isn't anything in it, great. The Fortuna fans can have their day and see him and celebrate that, whatever, I don't know, but it has to be right for us, not for Fortuna Sittard.
Well, it would be right for us because the Fortuna Sittard would potentially bring in over 300 fans who probably, as far as I'm led to understand, they all want to buy a shirt and they all want to buy Fleming's name on the back of it and all of that. So, if you work out 300 times, possibly £100 spent in the club shop, it makes business sense to a degree, doesn't it? So, I think that's all we'll say. After going pretty fucking loopy last time, mate, and my phone blowing up, that's it. And if you're a Burnley podcast, please make sure you post whole context this time and not just, something to make it go viral on your end. So, yeah. Right. We've done Gillingham. There ain't really much more to say about a pre-season friendly, really, is there? Apart from... it is what it is. Win, lose or draw. It's a pre-season friendly. We've seen some of the players what look good. I do think that there's a couple of positions that we still need to strengthen in. And Rowett in his post-match and stuff has pretty much agreed with everything we've been saying over the last couple of shows. Good evening, Gary, if you're watching. And yeah, I think this season's interesting times ahead, especially now with Blackburn looking as if they could be in turmoil at the moment. Could be good that allegedly they're not going to be spending anybody. I mean, if you look at the post by Kieran from The Price of Football, friend of the show, he's basically saying that it looks like the Indian government have put pressure on them to slow down on the investment and not buy people, which could be beneficial for us because there's a few players they've been looking at or we've been looking at possibly, and we might be able to get a sniff rather than them. And
also, do we maybe revisit Lewis Travers if they need to sell players? Is that something we could possibly revisit? Maybe see if they want to do business a little bit cheaper than what we've tried for the last few times. That could be something that we try for. I don't think centre mid is terribly high up on the priority list, but he is a good player.
No, he is a good player. So yeah, it'd be interesting to do. I suppose really we've done Gillingham to death. Is there anything else that you boys think we need to talk about Gillingham? Because I mean, the first half was great. Second half was pretty much watching paint dry, wasn't it? Really.
I'll just say quickly, it's good that Nisbet's got 2 goals already in I know it's only pre-season and whatnot, but he's got 2 goals. Yeah. Hopefully, it might get a bit of confidence, a bit of form rolling early doors. That'd be quite nice. But as we've continuously said in this first kind of 15 minutes, it's pre-season. You don't want to read too much into it. It's just nice that hopefully he might have got that monkey off his back early.
I'll tell you what I will do. I'll put you both right on it now, and I'll give it as well. How many goals do you reckon he's going to score this season?
I'm going to go a little bit bold with this, if I can. And this is going to... You can hold me to this.
You can go as bold as you want, mate. Oh, you will be hold. This will be edited for later on. So yeah.
Yeah, you can clip this, and for the benefit of the listeners, I've got no qualms with that. I think he will outscore what Tom Bradshaw's figure from last season.
Which was
What that means?
What was that?
I think
was
he
that
got
18?
well in the league. I think he got 17 goals in the league. So I think Nisbet will match that or beat it.
Okay.
No, I said he'd outscore it. He'll go 18 or more. I will put.
I think I honestly think he's come down here to make a name for himself and put himself firmly in the shop window, and I think he is going to score 25 or above.
I'm going to go.
Big numbers.
I'm going to go slightly more cautious, along with obviously the if he stays fit line. I think if he can get kind of 14, 15 goals, which I think he's more than capable of, and if Bradshaw can kind of get you 14, 15 goals, and then you get a couple from your midfield, a couple from the defence, as we know we're good with set pieces. I think. Obviously I want him to do well, and he has a lot of potential to do well. But what we don't want is for him to, everyone to expect him to get 30 goals, and then he might only get 10 or 15, and then everyone feels like it's wasted money.
It's, to be fair though, me saying that, and my opinion is purely based on the fact I think Tom Bradshaw works very, very hard and worked very, very hard for his goals, but also probably missed his fair share of good opportunities and good chances. But I don't think, from what I've seen of Nisbet and what I've seen, I don't think he's more likely to score those chances, whereas Bradshaw has to have maybe 2 or 3 or 4. I mean, if I say now, if I think Nisbet will score 18 plus, if he scores 14, it's still a good season. I'm not going to be disappointed with that. But I just think there's something about him. I think he's a little bit more of a natural finisher than what Tom Bradshaw is. And that's why I think he may be able to reach those heights.
I think that's a
I agree with you.
Especially if you do
look
at Bradshaw's goal record from last season, majority of his goals kind of came in batches, didn't they? He'd kind of get one kind of like, I think like for his first 4, for example, didn't score until October, then got one at Bristol City, and then got a hat-trick against Watford. And then I don't think he scored a game for a while after that. So we know his goals kind of come in batches. So if Nisbet can kind of plug the batches where Bradshaw isn't scoring, then
good season.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're watching on YouTube, make a comment below. Let us know how many goals you think Nisbet on Nisbet even will score in this season. Just give us a number. Do you think Stephen's being estimate? Do you think I'm just being absolutely crazy, or not? So get involved in and let us know what you think. Right, we're going to obviously the other topic what we had on here to discuss, what we've been talking about in the group and stuff like that. Ticket prices for this season look as if there's gonna be some fucking scary pricing for games to go watch football. If you take, there was a tweet earlier with someone, and it's something that's always made me think it, but I'll give the views on that in a bit on that and probably why they don't do it. But cheapest ticket for Middlesbrough is about 120 quid upwards for a return, and then you're looking at about 30. Yeah, on the train. Then you're looking at about 32 quid for the match ticket. And then by the time you bought food and all that, it's best part of 200 quid plus, isn't it? For an away day. And that's just for one person. If you're going with kids and all that, okay, if you're driving, you've got a 5-hour journey. And you're just going to be fucked, basically. But yeah, it's one of those where I think that, the rumours where we're looking, Norwich is 32 quid a ticket, allegedly. You've got Leeds, what are looking at, 47 quid. You've got Coventry, where the rumours are they're about 35 quid. Some of the ticket pricing is going to be mental this season. Considering that in the Prem, they used to have a maximum of £30 for away tickets. And the clubs that have come down have just gone, we're not with that shit no more, we'll go forward. Because really, we should have plenty is 20 or so, shouldn't we? Really? I mean, it'll be
yeah,
£20 is a fair price in it for an away ticket. By the time you've got to pay for all the transport and everything else on top of it, surely that's a fair price, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually a policy Reading operated with. Can't get my
They
words
don't
out.
this season, I'm told, allegedly,
Okay,
but yeah.
they did last season, but
Yeah.
it was fair. If you charge our fans 20 quid, we'll charge your fans 20 quid, which I think is a great way to do it, and it avoids fans getting priced out of football, because that's what we are seeing. I think Leeds are now doing a similar thing to what Reading did in terms of we'll match the price if the clubs agree to charge the same price. So I think they are kind of backtracking on that now, because I think they faced a lot of backlash, not just from non-Leeds fans, but also from Leeds fans. But I don't think I'm going to be going to Middlesbrough, but I am going to Norwich, and I've pre-booked my train. I've pre-booked it over a month and a half in advance, and I'm only paying £13 for a return, which is great. But I know that's not practical for a lot of people, and if I turned up on the day, it would cost me £43, which is a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know, everything again for Norwich. You're going to
But
look
it
at
makes you
£100 payout.
don't forget this season for clubs within football, so fans from outside London and all that. If Sadiq Khan gets his way and the 29th of August, ULEZ comes in, every single person going to a London game, who drives to a London game, after the 29th of August, so 1st of September onwards, will be paying £12.50 to go in extra to watch football in their own car if their car isn't ULEZ compliant. And I don't think enough clubs have actually promoted this and told their fans massive amounts on this. They've just it's sort of gone around the wayside, isn't it? It's not massively been publicised. I mean, I don't know about northern clubs, whatever else, if they've been telling their fans, but there doesn't seem to be. You think how many people drive to Millwall? Okay, some of them might have ULEZ compliant cars or vans and stuff, but I bet there's a lot what don't.
Well, I know for a fact that my car is, so I don't have to necessarily pay. Obviously, having travelled into London and sort of driven around the areas that are affected and or will be affected. But I know lots and lots of supporters that drive to games. I do away from home. Obviously, we'll come back to the ticket prices and things in a minute, but it is something that people are going to have to take into consideration. It is an extra cost. I know, to some people, that amount of money is a lot of money. To some people, it's not, but it's still the principle of adding it on top of everything that you spend on a game of football. Just going back to the ticket prices, I think it's very difficult to follow a football club in this day and age that's not perhaps in the Premier League, where they have a cap on away tickets and things like that. Clubs can charge pretty much whatever they like, and if you want to go, you have to pay it. We've seen, I think, Mick, we discussed a couple of months ago the ticket prices for the FA Cup final, which was two Manchester clubs coming down to London, factoring in train strikes, travel, getting home, food, and the category of prices for the FA Cup final was an absolute joke.
I think the cheapest ticket for that was £105, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, the clubs are pricing out the ordinary supporter. Some people are lucky. I have a season ticket at Millwall for home games, so you don't pay on a match basis, but you still spend a lot of money on petrol, on food and bits and pieces at the ground. But away from home, people are starting to now pick and choose. We all doing it. We're discussing what games we might go to, as a group, or can I jump in your car? Can I, do you want to book the train? It's so many things that you have to factor in, and it is a lot of money, especially around time, say at Christmas, where other stuff goes on. It's very difficult to be a football fan.
No, I mean, I think it's something what we'll probably look at, either through we'll do it for a Twitter community room, or maybe we'll just do it for a WhatsApp chat once the season kicks in or something. Maybe we'll start a group up for that, and maybe we just we'll look at maybe doing a car share. If you are going to away games and you've got a few spaces and people want to pay some petrol towards people, then maybe it's a facility. We're not obviously going to condone it or whatever, but maybe we just put you in touch with other people. There'll be people on the group you can speak to. You can do whatever you want to do with them. Get in touch. Maybe we do it on Twitter or something. On a Twitter community room or something. And we just call it the car share or something. But I think there needs to be a few bits of looking at different avenues to try and cut down on the cost. Because I bet there's lots of people who go away who probably might want a car share. There's going to be people out there who don't want a car share, and I totally get that. But those who do, you might as well just offer them, an outlet, really. The thing that's always surprised me is that the rail companies have never, ever done, or definitely not within, recent times, they've never done a rail card for football fans, have they?
Don't need to, do they? Because they know that people are going to use it.
No, they don't. They don't need to. But you would have thought really that they could have. You don't have to necessarily change the price of the tickets, but what would be a benefit of having a white rail card? Okay, listen, they're never going to do the prices cheap because they know they've got you by the balls. But what they could do is say, actually, if you buy a ticket for a rail card, if your kickoff gets moved, you can swap your ticket without paying fees.
Yeah.
So that would be a benefit. Do you know what I mean? Rather than, £10 here, £10 there. I don't know. I'd be interested to look at. There's a company who's involved with Millwall now, isn't there? A train company that's involved, or a ticket fee. I'd be interested in, finding out some more details today. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if we can get them on a show on a future show during the season to see what they can offer.
I think the other thing with it as well, just to touch on it, it's not just the ticket prices. I know we talk about food, but food is quite a big thing at the moment. You go into your supermarkets, everything has gone up by X amount, and if you stop at service stations and places like that, the cost of a meal is ridiculous. But you have to do it because they know that you have to stop. You might need to go to the loo or have a break, and you're going to have something to eat. So it is tricky. I don't always blame the football clubs. Don't get me wrong. Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday wanting to charge, nigh on 40, 50 quid for a match ticket is an absolute outrage. They are fully responsible for that. But I don't blame the clubs like Coventry and Millwall and Norwich that are probably having to put their prices up by a couple of quid. Because if they don't, they're just going to be completely and utterly swallowed up by clubs that are able to bring in large revenue.
I just think, it's an excuse that's been used for time and time again. It's like, fuck me, £3.50 for a sausage roll. Yeah, but that's how much you pay in events now. Yeah, but to me, if you lowered your prices and done reasonable prices, you'd probably sell more and people would probably more likely spend behind the bar. But realistically, if you go football, 9 times out of 10, most people will probably take kids, will buy stuff before they get to the den. Buy packets of sweets in the shop because they could probably buy 3 packets of sweets for the price of what it would cost them to buy 1 pack of sweet in the shop. I mean, clubs are now starting to come down on, well, you can't take drinks in and all this sort of stuff, or certain clubs where you can't take, bottles of pop and all that lot in. But again, it's just, what is it, £6.50 now for a pint of, piss warm beer in a fucking plastic cup? It's. I just think, what is it, £3, £4.50 for a Coke? I mean, we went to Wembley the other day, didn't we? And we went and saw Blur Stadium. Mm-hmm. And in there, they were doing 4 cans of Budweiser, 4 cans of Bud for £27.50. Or you could buy them singly for £7.50 each. 30 quid for £4. 4 cans, what you'll buy down the offie for what, £4.99 probably?
And considering as
it's
well,
fucking daylight robbery.
Before we got there, before we went into Wembley, we were in Box Park, and we'd obviously been to a Box Park before, and you get a little membership. But we bought 2 beers in there, and they were say 12 quid. But with the card, you got a little bit of a discount on it, so it was around about a tenner, I think it was. They had like you can only use it a certain amount of time. Obviously because they want their profits. But we bought a couple of beers in there, and it was around just over 10.50 or whatever it was. And then you go into Wembley and it's like 4 cans, 27.50, and you look at it and you're like, nah, I'm not doing it. They've got like the sweet stalls, and and the hot dogs and all of that kind of stuff. And we know Wembley's Wembley. Everything there is very, very pricey. But you know, your Joe average, whether it be at Wembley for a concert, whether it be at Wembley for the football, whether it be at the Den, you know, Coventry, whatever, they know that you have to have food. And if you don't buy it beforehand, or if you're not in a position to buy it beforehand, you haven't really got a choice.
No. I just think that football fans are a captive market, and people just see, you know, that they can pretty much charge football fans what you want, from you know, overseas membership to make sure you get a ticket, you know, overseas viewing to make sure that you can watch the games. And then if they sell, you know, like my mate lives in the States, and last year he bought an overseas pretty much Millwall TV ticket for about $150 or 150, about 150 quid, whatever it is, 130 quid. But then that was supposed to guarantee him all the games so that he could watch the games over there. But then certain games weren't being shown Europeanly or internationally because they were getting more money for them being shown on Sky or somewhere else. So, you know, it's like whichever way you look at it, you're being screwed left, right, centre. And I don't think it's anything that's ever going to change. It's just going to, you know, continue until you get someone strong enough. And I don't think the FSA is fairly strong enough in that aspect to sit there and try and pin it all down. But, you know, these training companies could end up doing cheap tickets, you know, through clubs or whatever if they really wanted to. But clubs could end up agreeing to a set fee for things. The food prices could be a lot cheaper, even if you've done meal deals like what Wembley. Do you know what I mean? Even if it was, you know, £7 for a pint and a pie or something. Do you know what I mean? Rather than 12, 13 quid or whatever it is. But some clubs do proper food, like good food for the right price. I can't think who it is now. Coventry, I think, or is it somewhere it does like proper decent food and a pint for
Birmingham
a
have
fairly
like
reasonable
loads
price?
Birmingham have loads of like kind of
well.
street stalls. Yeah, them two been quite. I haven't had them, but they look quite good.
I tell you what, as well, you can really notice the difference. This is a plug for their account, nothing to do with us, by the way. That Footy Scran Twitter account where they post all the different clubs and people like posting what they've had, and some of the Hull one. I think Ben from our show had something at Hull that had been posted on there, and they do really, really good stuff. And you don't mind paying a little bit more if the quality of the food. It's the same principle as if you go to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant and it's the quality's there. You don't mind paying a little bit more. It's the same at football. You get a nice, you know, a really nice, I don't know, decent burger. You don't mind paying a bit more. But when it's something you just look at it and go, "Come on, guys, you're kind of taking the piss with it a bit."
Looks like a Rustler's burger.
Yeah, and they're charging like 4 times the price of a Rustler's burger. Yeah, and obviously we're talking from a Millwall perspective. I'm sure there's other fans on other podcasts in the Championship and in other leagues that are having the exact same conversations. They're going to have to pick and choose where they go because they can't afford, for whatever reason, food just being one of them.
Yeah, you picked up on
you take.
Sorry, Mick. You picked up on the beer earlier, though. It's like you say it's £6.50, and you know Carlsberg is one of my least favourite beers. It's always warm, it's always flat, and if you dare try and go down in the 45th minute when the ball goes up, you'd be lucky to get a beer before the second half starts. And if it was £6.50 for a nice pint of beer, you know, like I'm not saying go and get a Moretti or something like that. Get a San Miguel tap or something like that. I was at Burnley away last season. They had San Miguel taps, and you can get a beer, you know, pretty quickly. I don't really have too much of a problem with paying £6.50 because when you're in London, that's the kind of rate that you pay. And also going back to the trains at the minute, I don't want to make it kind of like an overly political show. Obviously, we mentioned ULEZ and stuff, but the trains at the minute, the weekends in particular, so many strikes that are going on. Like I've pre-booked my Norwich ticket. That could so easily go out the window because they only have to give 2 weeks notice for a strike. So, you know, I paid that. I've only paid 13 quid. Great. But, you know, if a train strike gets called for that day, then I won't see them. Well, I'll get my money back, but I won't see the game.
No, that's a problem, isn't it? And I mean, I think a lot of the strikes and stuff that are going on are just more politically motivated than anything else. They seem orchestrated, but anyway, I'm not going political with it. So yeah, Right then, I think we've done travel to a bit. Saturday away on Tuesday, gents. I don't know which one of you two are going. If either of you are going, both of you going, none of you going, either
I'm
one of
not.
you going.
I'm not sure yet. I'm
Okay,
not sure yet.
I'm
trying
going.
to sort it out.
I brought my ticket. I'm standing in the standing area, which ain't bad really. £12. And do you know the thing what I liked with it? There was no booking fee, and also you get the ticket. Obviously, if you're an iPhone user, you get your ticket, and it loads straight into your wallet.
Nice.
So you just basically double press. You don't need the internet, and you just show it, and job done. But £12 for a stand-in. I know they're obviously low league, but £12. If what I'm trying to say from there is that if a National League team, which they are, aren't they? They're a National League team.
League Two.
No, League
League
Two
Two.
now.
No, League Two. So, all right, League Two. If a League Two team can do that, why the fuck can't Championship teams do it?
Are we? I think we're actually supposed to be bringing in e-tickets this season. If I remember it correctly, I think we are. But this is Millwall and technology we're talking about, so it's not something that's going to be plain sailing.
I would not want to be Millwall bringing in e-tickets because I reckon that there will be so many copies of that one ticket shared between a lot of people, and everyone will probably get in. I mean, you know, I think we've got a tradition of buying kids' tickets and getting in. So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, right. We got Saturday away on Tuesday. We have only ever played them once before, which I think was, and I'll just confirm to make sure that I get it right, so I don't end up being absolutely ridiculed for getting it all wrong.
We'll get ready to clip this then.
No, it's factual. I'm looking at the program, mate. So where are we? It is. 16th of August, I think it was, 1965. I will just confirm in 2 seconds for you. But that was the last time we played them. And yes, there we go. 14th of August, 1965. The Millwall team was allegedly, it looks as if, as long as my contact giving me the right thing, Dyer, James, McCafferty, Adams, Dorney, Brown, K, Martin, Whitehouse, Brown, M, Jacks, and Neil. And do you want to guess at what the score was?
I'm not going to, because I'm not going to ruin your. You told me earlier.
It was a friendly. And we got beat 9-1.
Well, I'm going to go bold and say I don't think we're going to get beat 9-1 on Tuesday.
Can only be.
No, I don't think we're going to get. But Billy Neal was in that team.
Nice name from the past.
Yeah, and if you have that program, which we will put it out on socials over the next day or so, courtesy of someone who's given me a copy or given me a picture of it. But if you've got that program, it's worth a fortune now. It's worth a good couple of £100 for a Millwall program. So yeah, if you've got it, keep it in good condition because it will only get more and more when they don't become available. So yeah, 9-1. Yeah, it's an interesting game ahead. Do you think we're going to do 2 11s again?
I don't think so, personally. I touched on it earlier. I think it's now getting to the point where you're going to start to see perhaps some more minutes in the legs for certain players, and then those that don't get as many in the next game. I think is it Bromley next that we're sending a team to after Sutton? I think.
Well,
yeah, no, it's under
21s. Yeah,
it's still under 21s.
So the next game would then be Charlton. So I think you'll definitely see some players get more minutes. I don't think they'll do 2 separate 45s personally, and you'll see a little bit more of a step up now in intensity.
I think I agree with you there. I think he'll probably want to give. I think Gillingham were slightly more advanced in their pre-season. They made quite a few changes after the hour mark on Saturday. So I think we might look to do something more towards that. And as well, it kind of looks like we are going to be shaping up as in a back 3-5 as we anticipated. That's how he's lined up against Bromley. It sounded, and it's definitely how he lined up against Gillingham. So yeah, be interesting to see if that continues. I'm expecting it to, but I wouldn't mind if he did want to maybe play 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever, just for kind of 20 minutes in a pre-season, just so we are used to it, because there will come a time that we do need to play that system.
I think personally, what he's going to do is he's aiming that he wants the players to play in a back 5 or a back 3 with obviously the 2 wing backs. But I think he's still going to be doing like the 4-3-2-3, whatever it is, and all of that. I think basically what he's trying to do is say that when he's playing, he doesn't want to keep going week in, week out, 5 at the back or 3 at the back, 4. He just wants to be able to have a few different angles that he can change around, because then it keeps the teams coming up on on the back foot as such, not knowing what they're actually going to be, what we're actually going to be playing, and go from there. But I think definitely he's going to end up getting in what he wants to get in, what he wanted last time, but he wants it to succeed this season, hopefully.
I think the other thing with it as well is there's a couple of players that if they play, open us up to big changes in the formation. You might line up with 3 at the back, but if Ryan Leonard's in that team, Leonard can come out of a centre-half position and play in midfield. Or you could have, if Zian Fleming is playing as a number 10, you could put him out wide. We've seen him play coming from the left, or Watmore or SA. So I think you're right, Mick. I think it is a case of, right, this is how we're going to line up, and this is kind of, this is your role. However, there's going to be certain individuals that are given different roles during the games to be able to, and those that are capable of doing it. Obviously, you're not going to have, for example, George Saville playing wide left or anything stupid like that. It will be certain players that can do it. But I think that's what he wants. He wants to have a little bit more flexibility.
No, I totally agree with you. Absolutely, totally agree with you. Well then, gents, we're there in the golden hour time scale. Dan, you got anything else you want to say? Any announcements? Any happy birthdays? Or you just want to say hello to anyone? Or you got anything else you want to say, mate? Feel free.
No, happy, man.
The floor is yours.
No, just happy to be back. Good to see a lot of familiar faces yesterday down Gillingham. Sadly for me, that might be my last game now until Bristol City, I suspect. But enjoy it on Tuesday night, chaps, and I hope it can be another encouraging kind of pre-season friendly in terms of getting minutes into the legs, and hopefully getting a somewhat positive performance and result.
Yeah, no, I get that. Stephen, you got anything you want to say, fella?
No, just to echo something you said earlier on in the show, if anyone's still listening at this point, if you're listening on YouTube, comment how many goals Nisbet or you think Nisbet will score this season. And if we post it out on social media, it'd be really cool if just to get involved. We listen and look at all of the comments. So anything that comes to us, we're more than happy to have a look at. So hopefully you might agree with me that Nisbet is the one to outscore Bradshaw, or you might be a little bit more cautious like Dan or like Mickey, who thinks he's going to be an absolute wonder kid in the league. Great to be back, as Dan said.
No, that's it. If you are all the way to the end of this, Chat with Chaps is now a YouTube only. It'll be kept on YouTube now. It won't be coming over as a pod. So if you do want to listen to Chat with Chaps, his post-match, he has done one for Gillingham. Head over to the YouTube channel. And if you're not subscribed already, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. And then every time we post a video, you will get notification of it. That's already up. That come up this morning. If you are listening and you think, what the fuck were they going on about a couple of minutes in about their sources? I need to see what this is. Well, podcast goes out 5:30 a.m. YouTube hits at 5:30 p.m. on the same day. So again, if you're on the way to work, you've got a few hours to go until this comes out later on. So then just get on the YouTube channel and watch it there, and you'll see exactly what we're doing. More tongue-in-cheek, quite funny, through different rumours as well. And so Steve's off to learn bit of Italian.
I was going to say, can I just jump in? You're going to put sales for that Italian sauce through the roof because everyone's going to go, I want to try a bit of that.
It's all right, actually. It's quite nice. It's in Aldi. It's about £2.50. If I could get an affiliation link up posted for it, I might just post it on. If I can find it on Amazon, I'll stick an affiliation link in. But yeah, but no, it's not bad. I like my hot sauce, so yeah, I think that's another show to test how Millwall you boys are. I think at some point we'll have a meet up and some hot wings, and we'll do a tribute show to the hot one show in Sis. We get a few different bottles of hot sauce to see how Millwall we are. And it's a nasty rumour, by the way, that Chaps wears a wig. But again, watch his latest episode and make your mind up yourself. Thanks for listening. It's a rumour, allegedly. And thanks very much for listening. Remember, if you do want to get on in the new series, what we'll be starting soon on Who Are Ya? Get in touch with Stephen or get in touch with us. Or if you're an up-and-coming writer and you fancy writing some bits and pieces for the website, again, get in touch with us because, yeah, there's some exciting things coming along with that this year. Have a look at the website if you haven't already done. It's thatmillwallpodcast.co.uk. That's it from us. We'll be back. We're recording another show Wednesday night, which will be out Thursday. Till then, check out YouTube. Plenty more shows there. Thank you very much. Speak to you later. Bye.